Today we get to talk about sibling rivalry. Eee! So we have 5 kids. There were 6 kids in my family growing up, and my husband just had the one sister, and they split up, and the sister didn't live with them, and then they had stepbrothers, stuff like that. But we all had sibling rivalry. So now we're on the other side, right? We're the parents. We have these 5 children that have squabbles, and we can't figure out what, maybe they just fight. They just don't get along. They just whatever. And there's all kinds of books and tips and tricks out there, and I've read a lot of them, not all of them, but I've read a lot of them about how to help your kids be best friends and all this stuff. It's very exciting to think about that. Today I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what our part is of the sibling rivalry. So it's become very evident to me recently that we have not raised our 2 girls the same. My oldest had a lot of rules. I won't say we were fearful, but we were very specific about making sure she didn't have too much makeup on, how she dressed, modesty, how showy her earring and jewelry were, and all kinds of modesty in thought and process and words. And then girl number 2, 3.5, 4 years younger, a lot more lax. Not on purpose. I didn't really think about it. Honestly, I just forgot. I forgot what rules we put down. I didn't write it down anywhere. I thought I would remember. You think you'd remember these important things. You made a big stink about it, so of course you're gonna remember. You're not trying to treat the girls differently. I'm not trying to make the baby a brat. I'm not trying to do that. But you relax with each kid. You'd notice, oh, that wasn't such a big deal after all, and so you change. And of course, you're not the same parent from child to child to child. And my third-born will never have the same parents that my firstborn had, because guess what? She's not the firstborn. My firstborn will never have the same parents that the fourthborn will have. They all have completely different parents and a completely different relationship. So how do we help with the sibling rivalry? The main thing is communicate. Giving them a chance. We have Sabbath meal every Friday night simply because Jesus did. It's not, we're not Jewish. We're not trying to keep the law or anything like that. We're just doing it because Jesus did, and he had good ideas. And God has good ideas. Set the Sabbath aside. So we set the Sabbath aside by every Friday night, not right when sun goes down. I tried that, but that didn't work out for me. But eventually, when we get to it, we sit down, we do the Lord's Supper, we forgive everybody, we confess our sins, and then we take the Lord's Supper. And man, that has helped a lot. It gives everybody a chance to air their grievances, and they've done it beforehand now because they know that it's coming, right? So, and if you're going to have to forgive somebody Friday night, then a lot of times Friday afternoon, you're a little bit kinder, a little bit more gracious. Same with, Thursday. And so this idea of having a ritual of forgiveness and confession helps to change your behavior throughout the week, and it really envelops your whole thought process. So for sibling rivalry, providing your children, whether it's on Friday night or whenever, providing them all with a chance to air their grievances, whether or not it's in the setting of taking the bread and the wine and praying the Lord's Prayer and all those different things. If it's like that, great. If it's not like that, that's okay too. But having a set aside time that they know they have a platform, either by themselves or together. Mom, I feel like it wasn't really fair this. Sometimes, like, there were situations. My oldest daughter said, the younger one gets to do X, Y, and Z all the time, like spend the night. She always gets to spend the night at so-and-so's house, and I never got to spend the night at any of my friends' house. Well, right, there were situations with those friends, and so she didn't know all the stories about older brothers or dangerous situations or just personality traits within that particular family. This family we've known much longer. This family, is just a different setup. And so the younger one did get to spend the night at people's houses, whereas the older one just didn't. And it wasn't anything that we could have done differently. It's just who was available. And so that helped her to see, oh, it wasn't, we weren't playing favorites. It wasn't because we didn't trust you. It was because those types of wonderful friends, unfortunately, weren't available to us. So that helped to break down the misunderstandings and her, of course, understandable resentment. So communication, having a platform, having a space, having a time where they have the freedom to talk to you. And mamas, it takes a lot to listen to your child, criticize or kind of give their constructive feedback about your parenting skills or lack thereof. Get an extra dose of patience, and maybe say, just tell me one or two things right now, because it builds up and it's hard to take. When you hear some of your mama guilt is right on the money, it's not easy to hear, but it's important for them. They can know that they can talk to you. The second thing is absolutely, be aware. You should write it down. I should write it down. Be aware of the changes from child to child. Why is this child allowed to do this and why is this child not? Am I keeping things as even as possible? If I'm not, what's the reason? Is the reason valid? And can I discuss that with them? So sorry, it's so late at night. I'm gonna have to clip that part out. Or maybe I'll just let you see me yawn. I'm so sorry. Be sure that they know why, if you have a reason. And if you don't have a reason, I think this is step number 3 and the most important of this short message. Apologize. I am sorry that I didn't treat you fairly. I am sorry. I will work harder to be a lot more just. If I was wrong in giving that kid more freedom and I did need to adjust, I'm sorry, I can't change it. I have to actually treat you differently because of X, Y, or Z. So that communication idea actually kind of goes through all 3 steps. But listening, giving them a space and time, recognizing when you were wrong, but the last one is for sure the biggest, I think, which is apologizing. So as you notice your children squabbling and really kind of fighting for attention or fighting with each other for getting what's theirs, getting what's owed them, step back and see, is there a spot that you're adding to that frustration? You can't help their relationship. You're not in their relationship, but you can help your part of creating an actual or perceived unjust treatment. I hope that helps you, and I hope that you have the space and time and humility that is required to sit with your children and listen to what they have to say. Seriously, Suzanne.